Hi there guys, welcome to episode 69 of the RetroBrown channel. Today we are doing a solo run with Bellsprout. Interesting fact about Bellsprout, it's actually number 69 in the Pokédex as well, so this has worked out perfectly in my eyes. Let's talk about the Grass Poison Pokemon. It's got a base stat total of 300. Pretty good for a first stage evolution Pokemon. That's spread across 50 HP, 75 attack, fantastic. 35 defense, 70 special, 40 speed. Speed might be an issue on this run, we'll soon find out. So today's rival is going to be, I'm going to go with Alfonso, one of my recent new subscribers to the channel. Thank you for subscribing, really appreciate it. Let's get on with the run. So we start off with Vine Whip and Growth on our moveset. And phenomenal combo to start off the game with, considering Growth increases our special attack and Vine Whip is a special attack. So it means we're going to do some fantastic damage. We're going to go with the name Flytrap for this one. I was considering calling it Fleshlight, but I reckon I might get flagged by YouTube for that, but here we go. Let's see how we do against the rival Charmander. Now, Bellsprout has a very shallow move pool in all honesty. We do get a lot of good moves via level up, but the majority of them are locked after like level 30 really, with Razor Leaf. That's probably going to be the best grass type move we get. But our TM move pool is actually really good. We get Sword Stance, we get Takedown, we get Double Edge, we get Mega Drain, we get Solar Beam, and we can also get Rest as well, which is perfect. We might even use Mimic on this run. Considering we've got a great matchup against Brock, we've gone in at level 7 and we actually lose. If he'd gone for Bide or if he'd gone for Screech, we'd have actually won that fight. So we're going to try this again at level 7. Can take out Judo comfortably. And the Onix is going to go for Screech, meaning we've got another chance to get 2 Vine Whips in. And that's a very easy first battle. The early game is going to be very easy for Grass type Pokemon, considering we've got Brock and then considering we've got Misty next. So let's move on to Cerulean. But before that we need to go against the Super Nerd with a lot of Poison type Pokemon. And Wrap is our best move to be using against him. We do outspeed these Grimers in the Coffin, and because of that Wrap becomes a very viable strategy here. Vine Whip is good to use against the Voltorb, it's not resisted, and we can take it out with 3 Vine Whips. We're actually getting up levels quite quickly here, and this brings us on to the Coffin. So the Coffin, because we can use Wrap, we can outspeed, we take quite an easy win, we pick up the Helix Fossil, which is the superior fossil in my eyes, and we move on to Misty, who I'm imagining will be quite an easy fight. We need to go against this Goldeen beforehand though. The reason why I'm showing this fight is because that Goldeen actually knows Peck. And of course we get Sleep Powder, one of the best moves that we could learn. Sleep is incredibly broken in Gen 1, and that's going to give us the advantage going into these fights. Because we are resisted by water type moves, her AI, Misty's AI, is not going to use Water Gun or Bubble Beam on us, meaning we've got chances to use Sleep Powder, put them to sleep, use Growth if we really want to do bigger damage, and then we can use Vine Whip to sweep through. Now, even with 2 Growth set up, this is how much damage Vine Whip is doing because Starmie is very bulky. But even with that, we take a first time win, and we can move on to the rival. Now, the rival's going to be quite difficult. His Charmander will have Ember now, but we're also against the Pidgeotto to start off with. Considering it uses Quick Attack to start off with, we take a big chunk of damage to begin with. But once we've done that, we can then use Wrap, and hopefully it will stay asleep while we've got it wrapped. But unfortunately this time, we get Sand attacked and we're at 19, 22 HP going at level 20. But against the Abra, this is a good chance for us to start setting up our Growths because it can't use anything but Teleport in this fight. So once we've done that, we can then... This is what I mean about that one Sand attack, is really being detrimental. And we don't outspeed the Rattata, so it gets 2 hits in before taking us out. I still think it's very doable to do at this level. We just need a little bit better luck against that Pidgeotto. So, starting off of course, we want to put it to sleep. We miss a Sand attack, which is good because then we can start using Wrap. What we want is for it to stay asleep as long as possible, and for us to get as many Wraps in without doing any damage to us. So we've got a little bit more HP this time to work with, 30. We're going to set up our Growths against the Abra, and then 1 Vine Whip will take it out. If we can get better luck against the Rattata, that would be perfect. We do. We don't take any damage, and now we're against the Charmander. We take burn damage from the Ember, but because of the Growth setup, we don't take much damage and we take the win quite comfortably. This brings us on to the SSM with the rival fight again. So this time he has his Kadabra, which is a bit of a problem because we are weak to confusion, but we have picked up the move Acid. Acid is a good move to be using, and we did go into this fight paralysed. So what we need to do is rely on Sleep Powder to give us those chances to hit. He goes to Teleport, and we can get past the Kadabra with one Acid. Acid is a good move for the early game, but it really drops off as you're going through the rest of the game. It's only got 40 base power, but with that, we can, even though we're paralysed, we can still take quite a comfortable win at level 28 while we're paralysed, which I didn't think we'd be able to do. This brings us on to Surge, and Surge, we've got the type advantage. Even though we don't have super effective moves, we can use Sleep Powder, we can set up our growths, and when we've set up our growths, that means that Vine Whip will do tons of damage. And it takes out the Voltorb in one. Pikachu has got bad defences and it goes down to 1 Vine Whip. Vine Whip will probably take 2 hits on the Raichu here. It does tank 1 and then we take the win on the second, so Surge again does not beat us first time. This is about 4 or 5 videos in a row now where Surge has not managed to beat us first time. So against the Rappinlass just outside of Cerulean as you're going towards the Rock Tunnel, Acid is the best move to be using here, even though most of these Pokemon are Grass Poison. Because Grass is also weak to Poison, it actually is neutral damage, so Acid is the best move to be using here. The Exploding Hiker is not going to be a problem. At level 30, Vine Whip, we're outspeeding. This is a very easy Rock Tunnel attempt, and we are flying through the game. We are honestly getting a really good time so far with just the first stage evolution. This brings us on to Celadon, and I was debating which route to go here, and it made sense more to me to go to the Rocky Hideout first. That way, because they've got more poison types in their arsenal, they've got more ground types, and when it gets to Giovanni, of course, he's got 2 rock type Pokemon, rock ground type Pokemon, meaning Vine Whip is going to be a perfect move to use. We can pick up the PP up here, and we can go against the trains just outside of Giovanni's room. The Sandshrews are not going to be a problem whatsoever, but the poison type Pokemon are, because they do get resisted by both our attacks. We're at level 32 now, and as long as we can get up to level 33, we can learn Razor Leaf, sorry. But that's not going to happen in this fight. We have to go against both of them before we can actually get to level 33. Sleep Powder is perfect, and it's easily the move that we'll take through the entirety of this run. We move up to level 33, and now we've got Razor Leaf with a high crit chance. It means we don't have to worry too much against the Salbot coming up next. The Sandshrew does manage to get a couple of sand attacks off there, but with Razor Leaf we do massive damage. And that brings us through to Giovanni. We've got 40 HP here. Flytrap is doing phenomenal performance here. And as long as we can hit our Razor Leafs, we're going to do pretty well against Giovanni. We take out both his rock Pokemon with 1 Razor Leaf, but the Kangaskhan starts doing big damage, but the second Razor Leaf gets the crit and we get the win. So we are flying through. We have not had many losses so far, and yeah, this is going to continue on for the majority of this run. We do have a bit of a problem in Erica's gym when we go against the Execute, and then I realised that it's actually super effectively weak to poison type moves, so it's a good reason that we've kept Acid to this point in the game. It's the best poison type move we can learn, and that gives us a chance now to go against Erica with quite a good outset, I would say. If we can get them to sleep, which to be fair actually won't happen. In Gen 1, if you use a status inflicting move, but the Pokemon that you are trying to inflict is the same type as the move, so these are grass type Pokemon, Sleep Powder is a grass type move, it actually won't affect them whatsoever, which is the reason why we're not getting hit by Poison Powder, because we're technically grass poison, meaning we cannot be poisoned by a poison type move. And we take quite a comfortable win. This leads us over to the rival in Lavender Tower. Now this is where he's starting to get a more varied team. We can Sleep Powder the Pidgeotto and Acid it down to get through without much problem. Execute, it's one shot with Acid, we're level 35 now. The Gyarados is going to be a big problem with Dragon Rage. We don't have good HP, meaning we are going to take big amounts of damage from a move like that. Once we can get the Kadabra to sleep, Acid will be a one-shot, and that leads us on to the Charmeleon. He does only have Ember, but we do get burned this time. Basically, we need to do as much damage as possible, and I do think we've got enough chance to set up 1 Razor Leaf before we get taken out by burn damage, and it is more than enough to get us through the fight. So even though we've been burned, we still take the win. So I could have gone over to Koga next, but instead I decided, let's go over to Silphco and see how we do against the rival. We're level 39 now, but wing attack is doing ridiculous amounts of damage, so it might be worth us going elsewhere first. So we're going to try against Koga here, and you can see we've got a decent time coming into Koga, but this brings us into one problem, which we don't have any super effective moves or even like a normal type move that we could use right now. I could have taught Double Edge at this point, but I think it's going to be worth me leaving that till later on in the run. So Sleep Powder in the Coffin is the best thing to do, because then we can use Razor Leaf after setting up a few growths. As long as we can put his Pokemon to sleep, we've got the chance to win. Pretty much that's the way we're winning with Bellsprout. We want Razor Leaf not to crit, which is kind of annoying because it's got such a high crit chance, it will crit most of the time. But with 92 HP, we're going against this Weezing. If we can get it to sleep, we can start taking it down. Razor Leaf does... that's not very much damage at all. It's about a quarter each Razor Leaf. As long as we keep it to sleep... oh, and we take him out with 3. Damage range seemed very weird, but that wasn't a critical hit and we'd set up our growths. So that's why it did more damage there. So now we've got a few more levels under our belt. Let's see how we do against the rival now. Level 44 here, and wing attack is still doing so much damage. So much damage! But with a few growths, we're kind of utilising the badge boost glitch here. We've got 12 HP, we can sell up all of our growths, our speed will be astronomical. So, Execute is next, and we take it out with 1 acid. Gyarados is after that, we put it to sleep. And yeah, it's a good thing that we put it to sleep, because Acid and Razor Leaf would not have one-shot it. Acid should... I misclicked there, but we didn't outspeed, so yeah, unfortunately we did take another loss there. Level 45, just one more level, we get a bit better luck against the Pidgeot, and we can keep putting it to sleep once our growths have been put up and our speed has been increased by the badge boost glitch. This means that Acid can then start sweeping through most of the Pokemon. We don't take much damage from Bite, which is good. If it used worst case scenario, they used Dragon Rage. We also want to make sure that Alakazam is not hitting us, so it needs to stay asleep. This brings us to the Charizard. As long as we get it to sleep, pretty much we win. Acid will do just about half, and 2 acids takes it down in the end. So, pretty much it was good luck that got us through that fight, and I need to figure out a strategy that doesn't rely so heavily on luck. Giovanni, again, is not going to be a problem. I mean, he does have more poison types in this fight than any other fights, so we need to hit our sleep powders, which for some reason we weren't doing. But when we finally do, we can set up our growths, and then Razor Leaf will take down the Nidorino. Kangaskhan is out next, and as long as we get it to sleep, again, Acid will just take it down over 3 hits. Next up is the Rhyhorn, and of course this is going to be an easy one with Razor Leaf. This brings us on to the Nidoqueen, and we have leveled up, which means any badge boost has now reset itself, and we got a little bit of a problem. Razor Leaf was not hitting, but when it did hit, it did massive damage with a critical. And we do take the first time win against Giovanni. He's not been able to beat us so far in this run. That brings us on to the next gym leader. So I forgot that I'd not picked up strength at this point. And once we've got strength, we can then teach it to one of our Pokemon, get the rare candy, and move on to Sabrina. Now Sabrina's going to be a really big problem because we are weak to psychic type attacks. We need to get the Pokemon to sleep, and unfortunately straight away we don't. That's how much damage Psybeam does to us, even though we're nearly 11 levels above them. We need to hope that we don't get hit but very hard. We can use Growth to get our special up, and that Kadabra stays asleep enough time for us to set up. Once we've set up though, Acid will do big damage as a physical attacking move, and her Pokemon are quite defensively weak. So once we've set Sleep Powder up on the Mr. Mime, 2 acids can take it down. This brings us to the Venomoth. Once it's set to sleep, Acid will do big damage again, and this is the reason why I've kept Acid for so long. It also has a chance to lower one of the stats, I can't remember off the top of my head which, but because of this, Sleep Powder becomes our crucial move in this fight. We can then move on to the Pokemon Mansion when we can pick up our rare candy, and we can also pick up Solar Beam. Now, I don't really like using 2-turn moves in this generation. Because it's going to be a 2-turn move, yes, it's very powerful, we get the stab on it, but with the fights coming up, there's not many chances the Solar Beam's going to be very good. So, I'm going to have to start thinking about this a bit more. Once we've set up our growths against the Growlithe, we could probably sweep with Razor Leaf, but it's more than likely going to be Acid that'll be the crucial move we use here. Growlithe doesn't really do very much, and it goes down to 1 Acid. Acid doesn't take out the Ponyta in 1 and it gets a Fire Spin off, but because of our increased special with Growth, it means that we're not taking too much damage from fire type attacks. Rapidash is next, Sleep Powder hits, and 2 Acids will be more than enough to take it down. Last up is the Arcanine, and if this uses Fire Blast we probably will lose. I mean, look how much Ember just did on its own with a critical hit. So we need to get it to sleep, we need to use Acid, and after a few hits and a Super Potion it goes down. So we do take a first time victory against Blame, which I was not expecting. But when you're using a bit of Badge Boost glitch and you've set up so much, anything's possible really. This brings us on to the final gym leader, which of course is Giovanni. And I am not worried about this fight whatsoever. Razor Leaf will do big damage on Rhyhorn, but I'm still going to set up a little bit just to make sure. So Stomp doesn't do very much damage at all, we'll put it back to sleep. And once we've got 6 growth set up, we can start sweeping. So Razor Leaf will just take it out in 1, and we go up to level 50, meaning all that badge boost has now just been wasted. I did not do my experience management there. And we are onto the Nidoqueen, who is starting to do big damage. It's going to take 2 Razor Leafs to take him out. So, Nidoking is next. We managed to get him asleep thanks to him using a guard spec. And as long as we can get through to the Rhydon, we have won this fight. So, now that is all 8 gym leaders done with just a Bellsprout on its own, Flytrap is now going to make its way to the Elite Four. Before that though, we always have the rival fight just to the west of Viridian. Good little setup fight to see how we're going to do in that very final champion fight. As long as we can get Sleep Powder set up, we can get our growth set up, we've got a good chance to pretty much sweep this fight. But annoyingly, this Pidgeot decides to be really annoying. It keeps waking up, it doesn't go back to sleep, and we actually don't get a very good run against it. So I decided, you know, it's finally time to change up my moveset a bit. With using growth, we can get our special attack really high, which means we're actually going to take better advantage of Mega Drain. That means that we can recover our health now, or we can use Double Edge to do big damage. And once we've used Double Edge, we can then go against Pokemon like the Rhyhorn, use Mega Drain and get our HP back. It's a great strategy to use, and I do recommend it if you are doing this run. We are going to get poisoned by the Execute, and we're through to the Gyarados. Now once we've got it to sleep, yes, it's not super effective, but using Mega Drain against the Gyarados means we get our health back. Meaning Double Edge will do one-shot that Alakazam and we're onto the Charizard. As long as it is put to sleep, Double Edge will be the perfect move here to use. And we take the win. So it's a little bit better strategy than my first attempt, and it means we can now go through to the victory road. Now I always like going against this trainer here because she yields a lot of experience. We can put the Parasect to sleep and just take it out with Double Edge. Next up is the Dugong. Now it does have ice type moves, which is a little bit scary. It does a lot of damage, which means I'm a little bit more worried about Lorelei coming up next. But once we set up our growths, Mega Drain, we can get all of our HP back, and that brings us on to the Chansey. So once Chansey is asleep, Mega Drain doesn't do very much. It's actually got good special compared to its physical bulk, so we can use Double Edge to take that down. And there's another trainer here. Considering we're a grass type Pokemon, we can go against this guy here who's got purely water type Pokemon. We can put the Kinglet to sleep, use our Mega Drain growth strats, and we can quite comfortably win this fight and get a bit more experience for even using our rare candies. The Tentacruel is a little worrying because it is water poison, so we're going to have to rely on Double Edge to get past it. Once we've set up all our growths, Mega Drain doesn't take it out in one, but this leaves us just with the Blastoise, which of course Mega Drain is a one-shot on. We go up to level 55, and that's a good level to start the Elite Four on, really. So we'll see how we do it against Lorelei. There's not many other moves that I've got in my arsenal that I could use, but pretty much I just want to get these Dugong to sleep as soon as possible and set up. Once we've set up, we can recover our HP because Grass is super effective against this Dugong, and it thankfully stays asleep the entire time, but we do get a critical hit. Critical hits ignore any stat increases. So we can now take out pretty much all the Pokemon with very little problems. Even get past the Jinx with an Ice Punch, and Mega Drain takes out the Lapras in one. So level 60 is a very good level to be at this point, and we're sailing through this Elite Four. We're not going to have too much of a problem against Bruno, I don't think. As long as we can get that Onyx asleep, we can set up our growth and use our regular strategies here. We should be fine. We should be fine. We've got double edge if it really goes south, and we need to deal out more physical damage. But I feel like Mega Drain is still going to be more than perfect to take out most of his Pokemon. It's surprisingly, even though it's a 40 base power move, actually doing really, really well with the growth strats. I'm very thankful that we managed to start off with that move, and it means that we've actually got a very good Pokemon on our hands. So this brings us over to Agatha. Now I'm scared for this one. Mega Drain is our best move, it's our only attacking move that can actually do some damage on us. So we need to get the Pokemon to sleep, and unfortunately we don't even get the good luck on this attempt. We're going to have to try this again and see how we do. But once we've set up with our growths, we should be okay to sweep this fight. I mean, she's quad resistant to grass type moves, so we really need our 6 growths to make this possible. So even with 6 growths, that's how much damage we're doing. And we have to use both PP ups that we get on the way through, that we pick up in Celadon. There's one in the Rocket Hideout, and there's one just outside to the right where the trees are. Yeah, we needed to use all of those just to be able to get past, because we needed the PP on our arsenal. Double Edge is the perfect thing for Pokemon that don't need to be Mega Drained, really. But I am going to use Mega Drain on this Arbok here just to get some HP back for the final Gengar. We've got 158 HP to go here. We hit the Sleep Powder, and this gives us the chance to win. 4 Mega Drains gives us the win, and we can move through to Lance. And I'm worried for Lance as well. Double Edge is probably going to have to be our best move to use, but we start off going against a Gyarados and we don't have the greatest defences. We're not very speedy either, so we need to get past this Hyper Beam, set up our growths, and then Mega Drain to get our HP back, because that'll give us enough to go against when it comes to the Dragonairs. So once we've got all of our growth set up, we'll set it back to sleep. It wakes up so quickly in this fight, I don't know why it was happening. Luck just wasn't on my side there, but we still managed to keep it asleep. I'm going to use one more Mega Drain against the Dragonair. And, you know, Mega Drain's been working really well for us. Let's continue using it and keep our HP up. I'm going to use Double Edge just to take it out on this one. And then we're going to go for Sleep Powder on the Aerodactyl. Mega Drain is a one-shot on the Aerodactyl, leading us onto the Dragonite. As long as we get that Sleep Powder up, it used the barrier, which is very annoying. So, yeah, we're going to have to start using Double Edge, even though he's just used a barrier. And he's used 2 barriers now and used Agility. This is not looking in our favour. I'm so thankful he did not use a potion there, but we take the win and we can move on to our final rival, Alfonso. So, this is going to be an interesting fight. We're going into this at level 63, and the first Pokemon, of course, is the Pidgeot. It's gone for Sky Attack, so we now need to take it out as quick as possible, but he gets the hit in and we lose without even dealing any damage. We need to hope that he does not use Sky Attack to start off with, or that we can keep him asleep enough that growth can get set up. Once growth has been set up and he stays asleep for the entire time, which it's crazy, we can use Double Edge. You know, you just have to keep putting it to sleep. It keeps waking up. First turn, that's 4 or 5 turns in a row. What is the chances of that happening that it wakes up first turn? That's crazy. Okay, so the Alakazam, we're going to use Double Edge, and right on we get our HP back with Mega Drain. This is looking good now. We've got some momentum. We can't Sleep Powder. Oh, we can Sleep Powder the Executor. Okay, so we're going to use Double Edge, and we've only got the Gyarados left before the final Pokemon. Here we can use Mega Drain and get our HP back, and we should be on full HP going into this Charizard. So, Charizard versus a Bellsprout. He goes for Fire Spin, and this is not good. He outspeeds us. He misses a Fire Spin. That gives us a chance to get our Sleep Powder off. But Double Edge is not doing much damage whatsoever. Thankfully, he stays asleep, and that gives us enough to take the win. Flytrap, you have become the Pokemon League champion, and I'm so impressed of how a Bellsprout has done. It doesn't look like a strong Pokemon, but trust me, This is a beast of a Pokemon. So level 64, we take the win at 5 hours and 9 minutes. Okay, so that's not... Playtime is not as good as I thought it would be. I'm quite annoyed at the final playtime, considering that was actually a very fun run. But this is the end of the run, these are the runs we do. Let's see what we get next time on the wheel. So, first up on the wheel this time, we are going to spin and we are going to get... Squirtle! I've not done any of the Squirtle line since the very first video where I did Blastoise. That'd be interesting. Oh no, I've done the Water Turtle run as well. Next up is Dugong, that came up last time, so I might have to do a Dugong run. Unless this third choice is just phenomenal and I really want to do it. What comes up third? It is Hitmonchan. Okay, yep. I've not done any of these Pokemon yet. I've done barely any fighting Pokemon. Let's go with Hitmonchan and see how we do. If you've got to this point in the video, guys, really appreciate it. Please smash that like, subscribe, share it, tell your grandmother about it maybe. You legends, and we will see you next week for the Hitmonchan run. Take care now.